Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome to Monday Mini Medicine Card Readings. I am Patrick. I will be your friendly neighborhood shaman for the evening. As you can tell, I am not at home. I had to do some stuff at my office here at Four Sisters Holistic Remedies in downtown Renton. And everyone else is getting ready to leave. So there might be some noise and voices from the outside, but I don't know if I've ever done my reading live video from my office before, so let me give you a look around. Let me look and make sure that it's presentable first. This is my office. Ganesha on the door. My fiance's artwork up there for sale. My little altar where I do readings. One of my drums. And then there's these. I love my wall tapestries. I always say it's my little slice of Sherwood. So that is where we are today, because I had to do some things. I don't have a printer at home, and so I had to come in here so I could use their printer. So, hello, welcome. I need to plug in my phone. As usual, I had plenty of time to get ready. And then I decided, I better go use the bathroom before I start, and that made me a little bit late. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining me. Welcome. All right, so just getting my stuff set up. So and I'll give other people the chance to tune in to know we're live from my office. I should probably hold on here a second. There might be some beeps and noises in the background here. I have my phone plugged in my laptop so that it can charge, but it probably wouldn't charge unless my laptop is up and running. Woohoo! All right, so thank you for joining me, and welcome. And I'm just trying to get myself centered here. Oofda. Getting situated. This is not the normal setup that I am used to for doing these readings, so I am trying to figure out the best way to go about it. So, thank you for joining. If you haven't been here before, my name is Patrick, and I am the owner of Perching Wolf Studios, the Facebook page or the YouTube channel you are currently on. And I am sitting on the floor because that's where I'm more comfortable. I can probably dip this up a little bit. There we go. So, I'm going to light some sage, light a candle. So that we are in sacred space. Everything is ceremony. So even if it's just lighting a candle, it makes everything that much more sacred. Well, it doesn't make things more sacred. Everything is sacred. But lighting a candle, lighting some sage and stuff, makes us more mindful of the sacredness of every moment. So So there we go. So all right, there we go. So I am gonna smudge my cards and get a little more smoke going. If you're new and have not been to one of these before, what I do is I pull 3 of these nifty cards I use, and it's a little different than like a tarot reading because I use the medicine card deck. And the medicine card deck has animal totems on it. Each card has a different animal, and depending on who shows up in a spread or in what position, it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on, what you need to know. And in this case, which animal guide is volunteering to escort you through your week, give you extra guidance, extra strength, extra medicine. So what we do, I'm going to shuffle these up. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and your job is to choose a number, come on, between 1 and 3. And whichever card corresponds to the number you chose, that is your guidance for the week. And I will go through one at a time and connect with the animal, get what their specific message is for the week, and we'll see how that goes. So choose a number between 1 and 3, or you can choose a couple numbers, or you can choose all 3 numbers, because it is an abundant universe. And you can have anything you like. All right, let's see who's coming to help us this week. It is so funny. It's like there are cards in here. I've been doing this every week for over a year now, and there are cards that have never come up, and there are other cards that seem to come up over and over and over again. These have been up here before, not as common as some of them, but let's see what we have. Okay, so number 1. If 1 is your card, if 1 is what you chose, you got the prairie dog. Prairie dog is kind of a complex character. Many levels of medicine. The main thing with prairie dog is retreat. That's kind of the word that comes with the cards, with the the book that comes with the cards. The word that accompanies prairie dog is retreat, and that is because prairie dogs live in bustling communities. They're kind of like almost like the North American version of the meerkats, right? If you ever watched that meerkat show on Animal Planet or whatever it was, very similar lifestyles. It's like this bustling community, these prairie dog towns, like in and out, and just interactions and dynamics and complex society. But when you live like that, when you have so much bustling and community and interaction, it's important to have a place to retreat to. And in the prairie dog towns, they're all underground. There are tunnels that go every which way, complex chambers and rooms and halls and all kinds of things. But they always have little rooms where you can go to get to be alone. Because a community is only as strong as its individuals, right? And so the best thing you can do for your community, for the world, is to know yourself. And we've kind of got it backwards in our society, the way things have been in the past, the way I was raised, the world I was raised in. It's like you have to give, you come last, everyone else comes first, and it doesn't matter what you have or who you are. It's like you have to give, right? And it doesn't matter. The individual gets lost in that kind of a society. But we don't live in a hive mind. We're not automatrons, is that the word? Just like even paring it down to a relationship between two people, a relationship is only as strong as the two individuals that make that relationship. You want two whole people coming together to create something even greater than the sum of the parts, right? And so a society depends, I'll put it that way, a healthy society depends on the wholeness and the strength and the well-being of the individuals that make up that community. And so, we're in the process right now, very blatantly in some cases, of turning that around in our society. The whole thing with the, trickle-down economics, where there's a few at the top, and then all the lower peons underneath get stomped on and don't have all their rights, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go into the politics of it, but that is part of what is rising now, is the whole awareness of I just lost it. Like Medicare for all, medical treatment for all, like health, well-being is a birthright of all humans. And the more people, the more healthy, whole, passionate, joyous people we have in a society, the more healthy our society is. It's like there was a senator from Minnesota that, I can't remember his name, I think it was Paul Wellstone, said something about when we all do better, right? And so I think we're in the process of that turning around. As a global community, we're starting to realize, just like with the pandemic, it affects everybody. It doesn't affect everybody in the same way, but again, the more well-off everybody is, the more well-off everybody is. And then you don't get the parasitical, top-ranking CEOs, et cetera, living off of the labor of poor peons, et cetera. It's like, then it goes from being the pyramid to being the circle of life, where if one point of the circle is doing well, that wellness bleeds through to everyone on the circle. And we are a circle. We are a global community. We are one race, and when one of us does well, it lifts everybody. So what that means with Prairie Dog is that taking time to yourself, stepping away from the world, stepping away from responsibilities and obligations is not selfish. And by taking care of yourself, you're actually taking care of everyone else around you. You know, we have this weird ideal that if you're not exhausted and burnt out, you're not doing your job. You're not helping the world. But what if everybody did what they were called to do, like listen to their heart and followed their heart's calling in whatever capacity that was, so that each person would be joyful in their work. Their work would be heartfelt. It would be a calling. They would feel a sense of fulfillment doing that job, and it would benefit the world. It would benefit society. And so everybody's coming from a place of wholeness and joy rather than, oh my God, I have to go to work, you know, where we start to prioritize exhaustion over fun and joyousness. What if everyone in the world was joyful? What if everyone in the world was fulfilled? You know, again, again, I bring you to the attention of Star Trek, and we've seen, like, on the movies and the TV shows, we've seen the society where everyone does what their talents are, what their calling is. Nothing is left undone. Every place is taken care of. Everyone is seen as an important component of our society, and everyone is taken care of. And when you're taken care of, and you don't have to fear and worry and stress about things, you bring more to the table to benefit everybody, and everybody else around you the same thing. If they're all coming from a place of love rather than fear and stress and trying to figure out how they're going to make things fit together, then our society suffers as a whole. So anyway, so the message of Prairie Dog in that case is, it is not selfish, but it is actually your responsibility to take care of yourself, to see that your needs are met, to see that you are following your heart. And it's also about, especially if you're an empath, it's about, you need to have times of solitude and quiet in order to know who you are, to be able to become intimate with your own energy, with who you are yourself as an individual, so that when you do go into society, when you do reemerge from that retreat, re-enter society, then you're bringing yourself with you, and you have boundaries. You know, where's that weird feeling coming? That's not me. I know what I feel like, so that isn't me. Is there something I can do to balance that? You know, offer help, or just hold that person, or wherever the source of that feeling, can I just hold a vision of wholeness and light and love for that person or that situation? And coming from that place of strength and wholeness, again, it comes down to alignment, remembering that the world outside you is not your source. The world outside you is not the source of your abundance. The outside world is not what sees your needs met. The source of your well-being is spirit. It's creator. And that's when you live from the heart. Your heart is what connects you directly to source energy. And that is your source of well-being. It might come to you through channels of the outside world, through a job or through other people or whatever, but the true source of that is source, literally. And as you move with that connection to source, when you know who you are and you're in alignment, then everything falls into place. And if it doesn't fall into place, then you know that either that's not yours to have, or you're heading in the, I don't want to say wrong direction, you're heading in a direction that isn't for your highest good. And so using that, again, that compass of joy and lightness in your heart, you steer back toward joy, toward feeling that fulfillment in your heart. I hope that makes sense. The other thing, I guess there's a second thing I wanted to say about Prairie Dog, but I kind of segued into it in a way that this huge, vast prairie dog town, right? They always have a sentinel standing guard, watching, constantly scanning the skies for predators, scanning the prairie for predators, watching for coyotes or hawks or whatever. And so what that means is the rest of the prairie dog town can stand down. They can relax. They know they're being watched over. They know that if there is a threat or some danger arises, boom, the sentinel raises the alarm and everyone dashes for the tunnels. So it's knowing that you're taken care of. It's knowing that you are safe to retreat because you're being guided. You're being, through that connection, that alignment, you're being watched over. And then you can trust your intuition. If there's something that needs your attention, you're going to know it. And you're going to come from that place of wholeness to be able to face it head on rather than to run. So know that if that is your card, know that you have others watching over you. And it must be true because my nose is itchy. I just learned that that's a sign of your spirit guides being around. If when someone's like scratching their nose, you can say, "Oh, it's on the nose." Anyway, so if Prairie Dog is your card, know that it's okay to back off and take care of yourself. That the world will go on, and when it's time for you to rejoin the world, it will be perfect timing. It will all fall into place. And remember that you are taken care of, that you are being watched over. And if something needs your attention, you will know it in your heart. And your heart will say, "Oh, wait, what about that?" And you can pay attention to it, take care of it, and return to your wholeness. So that's number one. Number two, if 2 is your card, we got the turkey. I love turkey medicine. A lot of people are like, "Oh, great, turkey. What does that mean?" But turkey is actually referred to as the giveaway bird. Turkey is, in some Native American tribes, turkey is the giveaway bird. It's like turkey is what they would give people as a sign of abundance. It's kind of like, "May you never hunger," because one turkey can feed so many people. And so similar to Prairie Dog, in that what I was saying about your wholeness and your wellness, and the more whole you are, the better off everyone around you is. Turkey carries that similar medicine because everyone wants a turkey that's big and fat, right? We want a turkey that's been healthy and whole and well fed, and because then she can feed so many more people. And that's what the indigenous peoples understood. They saw her as kind of a an embodiment of Mother Earth and this embodiment of abundance. And so they would take care of Turkey. They would make sure that she had enough shelter, enough food, safe places to roost at night. Because if they knew that if they took care of her, they gave to her, then when it was her turn, she would be able to give to them. So again, it wasn't this like, oh, that's a resource and let's take it and manipulate it. And it was like, oh, she is goddess, she is Mother Earth. Let us take care of her, and in return, she will take care of us. It's a symbiotic relationship. So, if this is your card, make sure that make sure you're not giving away more than you have, which is kind of what I was just talking at length about with Prairie Dog. That's what society expects. Expect us to be running on empty and giving everything we've got, but you can't fill up other people's glasses if your pitcher is empty, right? And the ironic thing is that when you take care of yourself and your pitcher is full, your pitcher doesn't just get full, your pitcher is overflowing. And so that light and love that you are realizing that you are flowing with overflows and automatically fills the cups of people around you. Whether it's just a smile at a stranger on the street or giving someone some money that's off down on their luck or whatever, it's like that abundance. When you are abundant, when you're living in well-being, that well-being just automatically translates into helping others. I had another thought, it just flew out of my head. What was the thought? Dang, I guess it wasn't important, or it doesn't apply to to you guys that are watching. But never underestimate. Oh, okay, thank you. One of my favorite quotes, and if you've been watching this for a while, you know that I'm not real good at quoting quotes. I kind of have to paraphrase them because I can never remember the exact words. But one of my favorite quotes from Abraham Hicks talks about you can never get sick enough to help someone who is ill, and you can never get poor enough to help someone who is in poverty. You can only help others from a position of strength and wholeness. And so by coming to that place of wholeness, like I said, like you see someone on the corner, hey, I've got a 20 in my pocket, here you go. I'm taken care of. I know where my money's coming from because I'm connected to spirit. And I let that flow. And as you do that, you're opening, it's, abundance. Abundance isn't about hoarding and saving up. Abundance is the flow of energy, of getting things when they come and letting go of them when it's time to let them go, because by letting go of something, releasing something, you're opening up that space for more to come in. So again, take care of yourself. You are the priority in your life, and the world depends on you coming from a place of strength and wholeness. It might sound, especially from our society point of view, like it's being selfish, that rugged individualism pulling us up by our own bootstraps crap that they talk about. It's like we are all in this together. We're all here to support each other. We are all in this together. We're all part of the same race. We're all part of the same consciousness. There's only one of us here in many, many facets. And so the more you can help those around you, like I said with Prairie Dog, like doing the things that bring you joy and fulfillment automatically will fill other people with wellness. I had just to share a little story about why turkey is so important to me personally. A couple of years ago, I went on a vision quest out in Eastern Washington, and the main focus was, I was still in my day job, but I was kind of easing into my shamanic practice like I'm doing now. And I was feeling that balance where mundane life, for lack of another word, like ordinary reality, was just as real as non-ordinary reality, the shamanic part. And I was realizing that I was at that tipping point where I could easily go into the shamanic and make that the priority. And that scared me. It was kind of like, it scared and excited me at the same time. And so one of the purposes, one of my intentions for that vision quest was to ask, to find out, to get an answer. Am I ready to do that now? Am I ready to let go of the day job? Am I ready to move into my calling, into my heartfelt career, my heartfelt vocation as a shaman? And I believe it was the second day. I was just sitting there in my camp with my little, I have a painted dog stuffed animal named Windsor that was with me. Just sitting there with Windsor and had my little altar in front of me, and I was drumming away off and on, just sitting in the woods, asking for answers, connecting to the spirits. And all of a sudden I heard a rustling behind me. I turned around and there was like this parade of like 5 or 6 turkeys, wild turkeys, just moseying along. And I literally started bawling because I knew what turkey medicine was. And what I basically heard in my head from turkey was, it is safe to give your gifts. And so it was like, it was that sense of the environment around me is healthy enough to support me in doing what, to give my gifts, that I was supported, that, you know, just like the indigenous peoples and Turkey, like I was being taken care of, I was being supported so that I could give my gifts to my community, who would in turn continue to support me. And so, yeah, that was a really big moment for me, connecting with turkey, because I knew without a doubt at that moment that it was safe to give, that I didn't have to hold back, that I didn't have to be afraid. So don't be afraid to give, but make sure you're giving from your heart, you're giving from your wholeness. Just because someone shows up in your life that is needing something, it is not necessarily your responsibility to help them or heal them. Your responsibility is then to touch in with your heart and see, does your heart draw you toward helping them, or are you drawn to helping them through obligation, like, oh, I better do this or I'm a bad person kind of thing? Because if your heart says, no, stay back, you're not abandoning that person, you're not turning your back on your spiritual practice. All that means is that you are not the right person to help that person. In fact, if you step in to help them, it's going to take more energy from you that you don't have, And in the long run, it's not actually going to help that person, because if that person needs help, there is someone who is going to resonate at that same level for what that person needs. And if you step in and fill that place, then this other person who is meant to step in and help, which will help fulfill and make them more whole, and will actually help this other person who's in need, you're actually taking on someone else's karma. You're trying to fix something that wasn't yours to fix in the first place. So again, the lesson is to check in with your heart, everything you do. And if it doesn't feel light to your heart, if it doesn't feel fulfilling, then the answer is no. Because it's with the knowledge that the person is going to have everything they need. In fact, you're being aware of the person, knowing that you're not the one to help them. By holding that person in that the spirit of the namaste, the divine in me sees the divine in you, holding them in that space, seeing their divinity, knowing that they have, that there is something that they need, you can reinforce that and quicken the arrival of whatever help that person needs. Does that make sense? And never, ever underestimate the power of seeing the divinity in somebody else. That alone heals eons of hurt and trauma. And that's a whole nother subject I could go into, but probably not time tonight. So anyway, so if number 2, if Turkey is your card, remember to take care of yourself. Just like they say on the airplanes, put the mask over your face first before helping your neighbor, because if you pass out, then you're not going to be there to help your neighbor anyway. So see to your own wholeness, knowing that that is contributing to your value for the rest of the community. Yeah. All right. So number 3, if 3 is your number, I think this was number 3 last week too. I don't remember who all came up last week, but if number 3 is your card, you got the fox. It's interesting, like, even though I'm doing these individually, it's like sometimes there's always a thread going through connecting them all, and tonight is just like blatant, and I will get to that in a minute after I talk about fox. So fox medicine, fox is kind of the magician, the illusionist, the ninja of the animal kingdom. Fox medicine is about observing without being seen, like blending into the background, cloak of invisibility, but not, a lot of us grew up, because we were different, because we didn't fit in, we grew up practicing that invisibility, like, oh, please don't call on me, or like, even like being last because people didn't see you in line, or just playing invisible because you didn't want the extra attention, because growing up it was uncomfortable to be different, right? And so you tried to be invisible so that you didn't draw attention to yourself, and you tried to fit in, and instead of saying that was wrong, or that was, misled or anything like that, that had a purpose. That was your practice. Now it is time for you to use those skills that you learned in youth, the invisibility or projecting different things. It's kind of using those powers for good. Being able to blend in has its advantages. You can be more, I'm trying to remember, like, what's the best way to say this? It's similar to raccoon medicine with the mask, where it's not that you're lying or that you're putting on a cloak of some sort to impress others, but you can use those lessons of illusion, that magic of glamour, in order to feel more approachable to people. You can, like, by being able to blend in, kind of shape shift, change your spots, whatever. You can make yourself more approachable. You can make yourself more friendly to other people who might not otherwise approach you for help. And so by doing that, you can help others. And then another part of that is, in helping others, it's helping others find their own light. It's like nudging people toward their highest good, and then you're able to blend into the background. You're able to, like, disappear so that they get the credit for their own growth, so that you're not, well, I did this and that and I helped them a lot. It's like, okay, it's time to retreat. It's time to pull back so that they can own their own accomplishments, that they realize that it was really their strength that got them through it, rather than someone else holding their hand. Does that make sense? So, and Fox in so many different cultures, Fox is associated with magic and illusion. In fact, there's I would have to look to see exactly what it is now, but there is such a thing as foxfire, and it's like a plant or a tree or something that glows in the dark. And it's like this, it's kind of like, the glow in the dark things, like if you have like a glow in the dark sticker or something, and how it's kind of got that greenish glow to it when it's in the dark. I think it's the roots of the plant have that same glow. Like you'd be in the woods and everything's perfectly dark, but you get that low, that soft green glow of that root. And it's called foxfire because it's kind of an illusion. It's like this magic. And so fox medicine is a lot about the illusion, but it's not an illusion. At least balanced fox medicine is not an illusion to get ahead in the world, to take advantage of others, to try to get what you can. It's creating illusions. Perfect, thank you. The example that they just gave me is in Dumbo, right? The crows give Dumbo that magic feather that allows him to fly, right? He's got the power to fly all along, but it's the belief in that feather that helps him step out and actually fly. And then when he loses the feather, and they're like, no, it was you all along. And he finds out that he had the power all along. That's the kind of illusion I'm talking about. It's not an illusion to trick people. It's not an illusion to get the better of someone. It's the illusion. It's like training wheels. It's like helping people along, and all of a sudden the illusion disappears, and they're like, oh, I'm still riding my bike and I'm not falling over, right? So and it's about thinking outside the box, which isn't really an accurate phrase for Fox, because there is no box when it comes to Fox. Fox is so much in their own. It's like that saying, crazy like a fox. It's like Fox sees things uniquely. They see things, patterns that others don't. They see things in a different manner. And so whatever solution they come up with is going to be like way out in left field, but it's going to work. Like I, um, I remember all these cartoons when I was a kid, and the phrase, that's so crazy, it just might work. That's Fox medicine. It's like Zen mind, beginner's mind, looking at things from the mind of a child, like the mind of curiosity and wonderment, and being able to see things that experts can't see. Like the story about the truck that drove under an overpass that was too low and got stuck, and they called in, there were like police, and they brought in experts and engineers, and all these people are milling around trying to figure out how they're going to get the truck unstuck from under this bridge. And this little 5-year-old comes riding around on his bike. He's like, well, why don't you just let the air out of the tires? And it was like, and so it's like looking at things anew. Like we get caught in our structures and expertise, thinking we know exactly how things work, and A plus B equals C, and we forget that's all mental. That's all up here in your head. When you come from your heart and you see what's actually in front of you, then you can approach things in a different way. So that's Fox. So, as I mentioned, for anyone that chose all 3 numbers tonight, there's this definite thread. It's like a progression. So we start out number 1 with Prairie Dog, which is about retreating from the world to gain self-awareness, to know who you are outside of any outside influence or stimulation, without any input from anyone else telling you who you are, no expectations. It's like you get to know yourself experientially. It's, you get to, you learn what your own energy feels like. And that allows you to move into the world and become a powerhouse in your wholeness. Like this is the next step. When you do the retreating and you get to know yourself, you become more whole in yourself when you enter society, and you have so much more to give because you're in harmony with the whole. And you're not depleted by giving, because you're giving from your heart. And when you give, it not only fulfills the people you're giving to, it fulfills yourself. And so it's that beautiful, it's kind of like the infinity sign, right? It's like this gives to this, which then gives to this. And so it's this mutual support, mutual benefit, mutual healing that happens. And once you hit that stage and get really good at that stage, you take a step further and you become the magician. You become the one who understands how all that works, so that you can actually give more, because you're more aware of your relationship with the universe and how the universe works as part of the universe, rather than someone who's inside of this thing. You're part of the universe, so you can blend in, and so you can make things happen. And it's all because of awareness, because you spent the time working on yourself to become your whole self and abundant in the flow of the universe, so that you can actually take it a step further and actually make things happen. Does that make sense? This is like the master, the one that cannot be held down, cannot be caught, cannot be trapped, which is why fox hunts have been popular for so many, many years, because they're almost impossible to outwit. So, there you have it. Anything? I'm just kind of tuning in. Anything else that they want to say before we call it a night? Nope, I guess that is it. So basically, all three of them is about knowing yourself. It's about finding that alignment with spirit. And when I say aligning with spirit, what I really mean is becoming that spirit, embodying that spirit, just like Turkey embodies Mother Earth. You embody the source. You are source, embodied in this world. And so you begin to be able to give more to the world and actually affect the world around you, as you begin to realize your true nature as spirit rather than as human. So take care of yourself. The world depends on you taking care of yourself, making sure your needs are met so that you can see to help others and help the world. And the better we all do, the better we all do. So that seems to be the general message for tonight. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. And now it's time for my little spiel. If you did enjoy that, please consider coming and seeing me for a personal reading. A personal reading, you get 5 cards. It's like a medicine wheel, so you get the 4 directions and center, and depending on what position they show up in, it has different meanings, different nuances. And rather than like this kind of New York Times horoscope version, it is all focused on you and what you need to know at any given time. And my job is to empower you. And I can honestly say I have never given, well, how do I say that? I was going to say I've never given a bad reading. I don't mean bad as in clumsy or whatever. I mean, my job is to empower you. And no matter what the cards say, I go from, okay, so when someone is sitting in front of me, it's like a namaste. It's like I look from the divine in me to the divine in them. I recognize that person's wholeness, that person's uniqueness, that person as divine. The cards, no matter what cards come up, they are the path to remembering that wholeness. There is no judgment in the cards. There is no, oh, you should have done that or you should have done this. It takes you from where you are with no agenda other than your own well-being and nudges you in the direction you need to go. In fact, I have done readings for people where all the cards were in reverse, and it was, so those are some of the most powerful readings that I've done. So if this speaks to you, if the animals speak to you, come see me. Check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, to see how to arrange a reading. We can do Zoom or in person if you're local. And check out the other shamanic services I offer, like soul retrievals and other healings and Reiki, energy healing kind of things, as well as classes. And in fact, if you're local, here in the Renton, Seattle area, coming the second Saturday of June, June 12th, from 2 to 5, I'm going to be teaching a 3-hour class on basically an introduction to shamanic journey, where I will talk about the origins of shamanism, the history of shamanism, what a shaman is, what the shamanic cosmic view is, etc., etc. And then I will teach you how to do a shamanic journey, and we will journey to meet your own power animal, helping spirit. And this class changes lives, literally. And I'm speaking from experience, from people I've taught, and from my own. Like when I first learned shamanic journey, it was a turning point for me. It's like, this is all you need to start your shamanic path. And if you just do nothing else with it, it's like just that enough is to help you along your way. So check that out. It's $100 for the 3-hour class, and it's just, I love it. I love teaching. I love my job. So if you're going to be in the area at that time, let me know. Sign up for the class. They just opened a new classroom space, and because we're still kind of in the end game of the pandemic, we might have to limit the class size. So please pre-register if you're interested. Let me know. And then sometime soon, I will also be doing a Zoom class for those who aren't local or who don't want to come yet and be in person. So I will do that soon. I will keep you updated. And you can stay updated on my Facebook page or on my website. So that is my spiel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for your support. If you're new, I hope you'll join us again next week. And for those of you that have been pretty steady, thank you so much for your persistence and your support. I look forward to this every week, and I hope you'll join me again next week, or even on Wednesday when I do my other live video. I do sacred pipe ceremony, where I basically create a sacred space and I do sacred pipe ceremony, so that others can connect with spirit, offer our prayers and our intentions together in a loving space. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can join me here again Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And we will do that. And please feel free to share this video. If you enjoy it, invite your friends next time. And I think that's it. So thank you again so much for joining me. Thank you. I hope that was meaningful. You can always re-watch this. I will upload it to my Facebook page and also to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So subscribe to that so you don't miss any of these videos, and then some other videos I've got planned to do. I'm going to be trying to do some more videos coming up this summer about different shamanic things, and I'm hoping to get a podcast together and everything. So lots of exciting things going on, so stay tuned. And I guess that is it. So thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And until I see you next time, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your animal companionship. Check on them. Ask them for help. Rewatch this again if you need some more pointers or whatever. And I will see you soon, okay? So in the meantime, go shining. All right. Bye.